From Blasher, Smokey Daze Haze. I'm Smokey Daze Haze. The funniest there was, the funniest there is, the funniest there ever will be. The idiot savant of comedy. Whether you laugh or don't laugh, learn to laugh because I'm the funniest person going today. This set is You Lit Up, Unbound, Lewd, Improved, Tangent Under Pressure. And you know what? I think I might be an android or alien. I pulled my groin that all this white stuff came out. And it's like, you know what I mean? I think if you bleed, it's supposed to be red. And I'm gushing white. All this white stuff came out. And it's like a few times if I smacked my balls, it bled white too. And it bled right out the head. So I'm asking people, have you ever pulled your groin before? And everyone's telling me how it was all painful and all this other stuff. But no one told me that this white stuff came out. So it's like, I could pull my groin 10 to 20 times a day and this white stuff would be coming gushing out. It all just came out. And it's just like, you know what I mean? There's got to be something wrong with me. Because, you know, I know the alien, I know like, I don't know about aliens, but I know like Data, I know all the androids. Whenever I see something, it's like they always bleed white. When they were aliens, the synthetic guys, the bishops, the other guys, they always bled white. So, you know what I mean? I guess, you know what I mean, I must just not be human. I had no idea what shippers were. When I saw say it was a problem, like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking I always get free shipping. And I'm like, these people are talking about shipping. I'm like, yeah, the damn right shippers are a problem. You know, they charge 10, 20 bucks and stuff for these shipping. And sometimes when you buy on eBay, they charge you like 10 to 20 bucks. It'd be like $1, but it'd be like $20 or $30 in shipping and handling. All these shipping fees, all these handling fees, all this bullshit. I used to always pay more money just to get free shipping. I'd be on Amazon, I'd spend $25, $45. $49, $35, you know what I mean? They always change the thing for free shipping. So I was like, I'm one of these people, I'll go out of my way to buy free shipping. If you charge me shipping, I probably won't even buy from it. I don't like paying tax either. So, but they were talking about like Raylo and all these other people. Like the people from Star Wars, they want people in anime, they want people to get married, they want them to be couples. And then if they're not a couple, they'll get really nasty. They'll get nasty if you don't want to agree with them too. So it's like, they'll even want actors to break up with who they married with and get together because on the show. So it's like in the stupid Disney Star Wars, I guess Ray, and then with Kylo, so they call him Raylo, like that's the thing where they combine a name, so it's like one name, so you're no longer an individual, you're like a freaking collective and stuff. So yeah, man, you know, I don't know much about relationships, but this one, you know, I went on a few dates with this girl, April. She looked like Sandra Bullock. You know what I mean? And it was weird. Just getting there was crazy. I forget how we met. We might have met online. They used to do like Yahoo dating, like all these dating things. This was like a long time ago. I had like surgery on one of my hands, so it's like I couldn't really drive that good. I only had like, you know, I had stitches in one of the hands, so I still was like limited use. So she's out in like Southampton College. She lived in Huntington. So I'm going out to Southampton College, and for some reason I'm playing the cassette, and my stereo decides it's going to stop working on the way there. And then it's like, all right. So I finally get there. I'm lost because, you know, girls never give you good directions. This is before we had GPS and everything else. So it's like, I'm just going at the skin of my teeth. I'm all the way out east on, like, Long Island. So it's like desolate. There's not many places there. There's some coffee place that's closed, but they let me in. I talk to the lady. She tells me where the college is. So I go to the college. And then the girl, like, they're in all these dorms and the stuff. She didn't exactly tell me how to get there. So then I see this female. She lets me in her dorm room. She had, like, a muscle and fitness mag. I think she was on the lacrosse team or some sports team. And she's going through and she's explaining to me how the things are set up and the rooms and how to buzz in and everything like this. She's really nice. And then it's like, you know, I feel a little bit weird having some strange guy in my room. And I'm like, thanks. I didn't feel weird until you mentioned that. But, you know, I'll keep that in mind. But she was really nice. So then I go there. I meet the girl April. I get into the dorm and everything. Everyone there seems pretty cool. It's like a pagan dorm. There's one girl that's like really into crystal and new age stuff. I probably would have hooked up with her, I guess. We would have been a good couple. But April was pretty cool, but it was just a little weird. So, you know what I mean? We get there, then we go to a keg party. So, you know, I don't drink beer. I only drink, like, organic red wine now, but I used to drink, like, hard liquor and mixed drinks. So we're at the keg party, then all of a sudden, I see somebody's, like, wheeling out the keg and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Wow, people in the Hamptons are really ballsy, but it turned out that it was actually, they were breaking up the party. The cops came, so it was like a raid. She was 20 years old, I was a few years older than her, but they didn't bother her because I didn't look weird. I think she gave me her beer too to hold, but so they didn't bother us at all. No cop bothered us at all, so it was like pretty weird. But she told me like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, she kept saying, I'm not an alcoholic, but my dad is. I'm like, all right, well, the few times you told me was, but once you get to 4 and 5, you know what I mean, I'm starting to worry about that. So it's just like, you know, it's just really strange. So then we go back to the you know, where they live, like the dorms, and they're playing this game where you have to say something about the person, go through this thing. They said I didn't have to play because, you know, I just met them, but I was dumb enough, so I played, and I said this nice thing about this blonde girl. She was kind of cool, she seemed kind of cunt, she seemed pretty. And then April, I guess, didn't like her. She had some problem about it, so she just totally trashed the blonde girl. It was, like, so funny. I think she was saying how she was fake and, like, all this other stuff. So I thought that was pretty funny, because, you know what I mean, here I said a nice thing about it, and she just trashed it. So, you know what I mean, we went So then a few times I picked her up from Huntington. So, you know, her mom actually was a guidance counselor where I used to go to school, my high school. And she made me say her name and everything. I'm like, you know, I could have just made that up. I could have just made up my name and everything. But she's like, she didn't get it. But, you know, she's strict. She was Greek. So pretty cool. You know what I mean? So we're going. She made this thing about, like, she was good in air hockey, but I crushed in air hockey. We went to Wendy's, some other place. So we went to a few movies. One of them was like Boiler's Room. The other was like the Ninth Gate, like that Johnny Depp movie. Which, you know, there's some like sex scenes in there, so it's pretty interesting. Boiler Room's kind of boring. It's like about the thing. So it's like one of the movies, you know, you're talking, and you're not really sure how much to talk and not to talk when you're with a girl. And she's like, all of a sudden, she's like, are you going to talk during the whole movie? And I'm like, you know what? Thank God. Now I don't have to say anything. Because, you know, I was nervous, so I didn't say anything the rest of the movie, and she was like talking to me. I just sat there and watched. I was happy. You know what I mean? So it's like I didn't have to make the idle conversation or anything like that. So it's just pretty funny. And it's just like, you know, let's return to when Harry met Maggie May. To me in the yard, like, you know what I mean? This kind of like, so somehow he tricks me to go there, like we're going to use the phone to call me for a ride. So my ride left because like the cops came and stuff. So he ends up that, I'm not even sure if this is his grandmother's house now. I'm thinking, all right, this guy's out in the friggin' yard raking his leaves. Whatever happens, his wife cannot get him in. The dog's out there, this is that. We're like in pitch black. I'm like standing there motionless because I'm like, is this guy breaking into some random house? Is this even his grandmother's house? So he crawls in the house, he gets in the house, he gets out of the house. I'm like, great, now I'm friggin' accessory because it's like, when we were kids, there's this kid Chris used to leave his door unlocked, but we go into his fridge and we called ourselves like the V8 bandits. It was all innocent because like one of them knocked the V8 into like the friggin' sauce. And you know what I mean? And then we would take V8s once. We tried drinking it. It was like the nastiest, worst thing in the world. And you know, a few of them like did more stuff. But so, you know what I mean? Like being the V8 bandits is one thing, but this is like frig. But this guy just tricked me into robbing the house. So then we're running for the train to go to Ronkonkoma, which wasn't a good idea anyway. We had to run across like 4 or 5 lanes of traffic that was coming. We just barely make it. So we just make it to like Ronkonkoma. We just barely make it there. Then I find out, like, I hear at some point they're saying how he stole money from his grandmother, all this other stuff. The guy's got like a bloody pentagram on his friggin' door, so I'm like, I don't know what I got myself into. But he was paying for us to go all these cab rides. So it's like 3:33 in the morning. We're in this cab and with this strange person, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, man, you know, it's like, you were so lucky you were in there with that hot girl. I'm like, no, dude, that was a guy dressed like a girl. The guy was in drag. I could tell he was scared, so I wasn't going to say anything. 2 people like 16 years old in like the leather jackets, and like that time of night, you don't know what's going to happen. So it's like, you know what I mean? But I could tell. But it's so funny, he thought I was lucky. So you know what, speaking of cab rides, I knew this kid Collins. He almost got on Judge Judy because he got beat up by Mets fans. It was during like the Subway Series. So he was taunting these Mets fans, and he's like, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Benny Akbayani, it's all the same, it's all the same. You know, he's trying to say how the, you know what I mean, they paid his fare, but they beat him up. But they didn't want to go on Judge Judy because, like, you know what I mean, then he would have gotten money. And then it was funny because, like, he got beat up by this kid Schwartz's brother once, like a long time ago. And you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, and then they sued him, and he didn't sue him, he gave a fake name to the doctor, and he got, like, blackmailed him to get money because the guy was on, like, probation. So, you know, he's always finds a way to get beat up well. You know, speaking of doctors, I had to run like 40 degrees of weather to go to like my doctor because like the cops had everything closed down. They had like the road closed down and everything like that. So like, I had to friggin' run there. I'm running there in my t-shirt. I ran by the cop. No one said anything and stuff. And I'm like worried that I'm going to shit my pants because, you know, I go there for my ass doctor. You know what I mean? Speaking of shits, I stopped eating Ritz crackers a long time ago because they refused to get rid of cracker, the slur in their name. So you know what I mean? So it's like I can't even walk down the cracker aisle anymore. It's like I'm scared. I see all this cracker stuff. It's like so, you know, so difficult. I have like eporophobia. It's like a fear of anxiety of crossing like a bridge and running water. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's akin to like a neonical vampire or werewolf. And it's like, you know, I had to pick up this girl like Aura, and she lived in like Westchester, and so I have to go over the Tappan Zee Bridge. I actually have people where you can call them to go over the Tappan Zee Bridge, and they'll drive it across for you, you know what I mean? She's got me driving, I got a flat tire, and I'm driving back across and everything. I had to drive back across the Tappan Zee Bridge with like on my donut, because like AAA, that's all they could do. They couldn't fix my tire and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's just like, you know, we all have a fear of something, and it looks like this set ran longer than I wanted. I guess I had too much material and I couldn't deliver in time. I did it as fast as I could, but yeah, evidently it wasn't